Today we're going to talk about some of the things that I do when a new kid comes into my home for the first time to help them settle. Let's get right into it with the first thing that I always make sure that I do is I remember that the kid is a victim. That's incredibly important. All of these kids that are touching the system are victimized. That is always at the forefront of everything that I'm doing, and anybody that knows anything about victims is they tend not to want to be really touched. They want to have some private space. They want to find stability first. So I always have that at the forefront of everything that I'm doing. Second thing, I make sure that they can see that I'm eagerly awaiting them to come. They can see me as soon as they pull into my driveway, looking out the windows. They see me open the door and walk out the door to greet them. I do that in a very open way so that they can see that I'm eager for them, but also that our home is meant to be welcoming. I want them there if that's where they need to be. It's a method of helping them transition that may be foreign to them, and you may immediately see them close off, and that's okay. I'm at least extending that, I guess, branch or that hand of welcome first. Now, aside from that, one of the very first things that we do typically is that the person bringing the child is a foster care worker and they want to immediately get to the paperwork. I shut that down. I want to get the kid stable, and then we'll worry about what the adult needs to move things forward. And the reason I do that is, as important as the paperwork is, the whole reason that that kid's in the system is that they need somewhere to be where they can be stable. So I want to start that process first. I realize that the foster care worker needs and has other things to do, but that's not my primary concern. It's something that we take care of relatively fast, but it's not the first thing. Actually, the first thing that I do in talking with them is I let the teen boy usually know, because I only take boys into my home, and it's usually older kids, well into their teens most of the time, sometimes a little bit younger. But the first thing that I do is I tell them everything that I know about them. Something that is different about my approach is I deliberately only get the bare essentials about their past. I don't go through and read pages and pages and pages of reports. I simply don't do that. That is unfair. It creates a bias for anybody that's reading that. And you know what's in those reports? Almost all negative things. When you meet somebody on the street for the first time and you naturally greet them, you don't know their entire history. You might know their name if somebody's introduced them. You may know one or two little facts about them, maybe. But it is much, much more natural for me to say to the child, hey, Xavier, nice to meet you. I know that you're 12. I know that you have been in the band and you haven't had a whole lot of regularity with that. I know you're on XYZ med, and that sometimes you have problems sleeping. That's all that I know. But here's all of my information. And I actually have my printed out home studies, and I have multiple home studies, and I give that to them if they want to read it. I have yet to have any child actually sit down and want to read it, but it's a way of showing to them that I'm very open about my past and that I'm not going to pry into their past. I want to learn naturally with them about them, and that they have the ability to only tell me what they want me to know. Are there things that by law the foster system is required to tell me? Yes, there is, but it's really, really big stuff. And you better believe I tell the kid, hey, I know that you come from a home where there's been a lot of physical trauma, or maybe it's a sexual abuse, or whatever it is. I say it very clearly, as few words as possible, and then I move on. I don't want to dwell on their past. It's not fair to them. Then the next immediate thing I'll go into, we don't have a whole lot of rules in our house. That's on purpose. I want things to be simple. So one of the rules is you have to shower every day, only one person in the bathroom at a time, only change in the bathroom. What else do we got? I immediately move on to the rules of the house. Now, I deliberately don't have a lot of rules on our house, and that's to keep things simple. Not to mention the fact that with boys, the situation can change and you have to have some flexibility, because if you say something's a rule and then you violate your own rule, they will call you out, and then you got to recover from that. But some of our rules, no one in the bathroom with anybody else. You only change in the bathroom. Everybody needs to take a shower at least once a day, because I can tell you with teenage boys, sometimes I bump that rule up to more than once a day because it can get a little smelly. No one is to ask anybody else about their past, with the exception of the kids can all ask me about my past. And then when it comes to food, if you take the food, you have to eat what you take. So really, really simple, really, really basic type stuff. Then from there, what I usually will do is I'll give them a quick tour of the house, or I let the other kids in the house do the tour, which tends to go better. The other kids will help other kids coming into the house transition, and kids will ask other kids, they'll feel the other kids out for what's it like here, you know, how bad am I as a foster parent and things like that. So I do tend to have that, but I will tell you that my kids, when they do the tours, they deliberately, and I absolutely love this, they deliberately point out that I'm a master instructor in Taekwondo. And for that reason alone, I don't tend to have physical problems with the kids. Like, they don't get overly aggressive with me. So that actually is a big benefit for me in our house. Now, the other thing that, now right after the tour, I will let the kid have space if they want space. They have to feel it out. And sometimes the best way to do that is to just leave them alone. That's when I'll go with the foster care worker, finalize whatever paperwork, then the foster care worker can say goodbye to the kid, and then we just start into our transition. The transition, usually once that foster care worker has left, is presenting the child with a care basket. Now, this is just some personalized soaps, shampoos, deodorants, things that like that, toothpaste, toothbrush, just so that they have it. Even if they already have their own, this is for them. It's usually small sizes, and I'll tell them, hey, if there's anything in this that you don't like or we need to replace, this is just for tonight. And if there's a certain brand or style that you really, really like, we'll go to the store the next day and pick that up. Now, the reason that's important is sometimes that they actually need clothes too. I can't tell you the number of times that kids have come in without any socks or underwear or whatever it is, and you need to get to the store pretty quick to make sure that they have those basics. Then the final thing that I'll establish on the first day, and I do tend to actually do this with the foster caseworker if I can, sometimes I can't, is to ask if the child wants to participate in any type of religion. I don't force religion in this household. I know some foster families do. We do not. If the kids do have a religion preference, I make it a priority to make sure that we can establish that. If the congregation is local, I take them to their congregation. If it's not, then we establish something that's as close to it as possible. It's usually the opposite. Even if they do have a religious affiliation, they don't want to participate with it, and that's fine too. It's just something that I like them to have that feeling of control and consistency over if they want it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time and your interest in my journey as a single foster dad. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I will take a look at them, and I will do my best to answer back. And if I get the same comment repeatedly, I'll probably just do another video for it. But if you can like and subscribe, that will help us out a lot. And our next video should be posted here for the continuation of this journey. Thanks so much.